education statistic supporters. This is a stats MR. Turning to another presentation. For today's video, I will be going over some statistics related to the English Premier League. The Premier League is the top league in England and Wales for football, soccer, and I'll be going over some statistics from the 2000 to 2001 season onward, looking at who led in certain categories, and then also engaging in some conjecture, speculation, dubious speculation, and guesswork as to how the statistics from last year might predict who wins the league in the 2023-2024 campaign. Now, I do want to say the reason why this is dubious speculation is that, unlike leagues in the United States, there is no postseason tournament in the English Premier League. The champion is based upon the regular season. So, for example, if let's say the NBA in the United States determined its champion like the English Premier League does, then the Milwaukee Bucks would have won the championship because they had the most wins. The Boston Celtics would have been second, and the 76ers would have been third. So because they had more wins in the regular season than what the Nuggets. The Champions League and the UEFA Europa League, which those involve other leagues from other countries in Europe. So there are tournaments, but that's not. Those tournaments are separate cups and not. Okay, so here we have a list of champions of the English Premier League. Now, it is worth noting that Manchester City has won the last 3 titles. So I scroll all the way down to the most recent time. Yeah, so you see Manchester City, the 2020, 2021, the 2021, 2022, 2022, 2023 campaigns are all won by Manchester City. Now, interestingly enough, when I look back at the history even before the Premier League started in 1992, we go all the way back to 1888. To 1889, when I scroll through, I do not see any instance in which a club has won 4 consecutive titles, champions. So we'll go through. So you see Preston's North End won the first and second years. We have Aston Villa on a run. 1890s, they won 3 out of 4. Another period, they won 4 out of 5. So Town won 3 in a row in the 1920s, but Newcastle United ended that streak. The Wednesdays made a return under the Wednesday and then Sheffield Wednesday, but eventually they yielded. Thursday came for the Wednesdays. So then we have Arsenal winning 3 in a row, 1930s. Keep scrolling. Yet league play was suspended in World War II. Portsmouth won twice, late 1940s. Again, I'm scrolling through the history just to show, if Man Manchester City wins a fourth championship in a row, they will be the first club to ever do that. Wolverhampton Wanderers won twice in the 1950s. Keep scrolling. So Liverpool in the 1970s and 1980s was a powerhouse. They won 4 out of 5. And they won 3 in a row in the 1980s. But again, Everton put a stop to that. They actually won 4. So Liverpool and Everton. And let's see. Keep scrolling. Manchester United won the first 2 Premier League titles, then the Blackburn Rovers into that streak. Then Arsenal stopped the next Manchester United streak in 1997. Manchester United then won 3 in a row. And Arsenal broke that streak. Chelsea won 2 in a row in the mid-2000s. Manchester United then won 3 in a row. Chelsea again broke that streak. Yeah, City, Man United, Manchester City. Then Manchester City has won 5 of the last 6 titles, but again, Liverpool broke their streak in 2019-2020. So, all of this I'm showing is that Manchester City is trying to do something no other club has managed to do in the history of English football in winning 4 titles or championships in a row. So, now we'll get into the statistics. Okay, so before I get into the statistics, as always, I will leave a link in the description to my source. So, I'll go over these columns here. So the first column is the season. So, it goes in reverse chronological order. So, it's the 2022-2023 season is first, and then it descends from there, 2021 to 2022, so on. The first column is the most wins, and again, whomever has the most wins is the champion, the Premier League. Next is the fewest own goals. If anyone's unfamiliar, an own goal is when a team hits the ball into their own goal. The fewest yellow cards is the next column, then the fewest red cards, then the most goals, the most passes, most shots, fewest offsides, most hit woodworks. And again, hitting a woodwork is with a club takes a shot and it hits the goal post. Then the most big chances missed, the most clearances, the fewest dispossessed, essentially a turnover, but the most clean sheets or shutouts, the most saves, the most penalties saved. And then I have some payroll data. So what I looked at, again due to the lack of a postseason tournament, I was looking at the previous season's results to see if there's any correlation to the next year. So for the champion, so if a league, so I'll go with, let's say, the 2011-2012 season. So, as you can see, Manchester City won the 2011-2012 season, and Manchester United won the 2012-2013 season. Now, so what I looked at is what categories did Manchester United lead in the 2011-2012 season? Have any correlation? Again, I'm not saying causation, but correlation with the 2012-2013 season. And if a champion won the following year, then I highlighted the columns they led in the previous year in yellow. So again, Manchester United won the 2012-2013 season, so any categories they led in the previous season, which was 2011-2012, I highlighted in yellow. So Manchester United tied for the fewest red cards, and they had the most clean sheets. Okay, so they led the league they led the Premier League in 2 categories in the 2011-2012 season, and then they won it the following year, 2012-2013. So that's what the yellow highlights represent. Again, I'm trying to see if in a year or so in 2012-2013, if a club led in those categories, did it have any correlation to who won the following year? Again, this is for the guesswork that I'll do, trying to see who will win the 2023-2024 season. So, now these red highlights. So, if the champion in a year did not lead the league in any category in the previous year, which was the case for Leicester City, so Leicester City won the 2015-2016 campaign, and they did not lead the league in anything in the 2014-2015 campaign. Same thing for Chelsea. Chelsea did not lead the league in categories I listed here. They won the 2016-2017 campaign. So, I tallied all this up. So, this is the number of categories that the next year's champion won. So, there were twice where the champion in one year did not lead the league in anything in the previous year. Again, that was Chelsea and Leicester City. 4 times the champion in one year led the league in one category the previous year. The most common trend was for the champion to have led the league in 2 categories the previous year. So that happened 40.91% of the time. Three categories was 9.09. So only zeros. So there have been no champions that have led the league in 4 categories the previous year, and there are no champions where the league in 6 categories the previous year. There are twice where the champion led the league in 7 categories the previous year. So as you can see, the mode is 2. We see a graphical representation of that. Okay. Categories league leader led in a year before winning championship. C1 and 2 is the most common 5. Now, there is a high degree of concentration in the Premier League of Championships. So again, this goes back to 2000-2001 season. This is not all time. Manchester United and Manchester City each won 7 titles for championships. So they combined for 60.87% of the titles between them. Chelsea comes in at 3rd with 5. You have Arsenal, Liverpool, and Leicester City to round it out. So actually, if you take the top 3, that accounts for 82.61% of the championships, just between the 3 teams. So you kind of like have a graphical representation. See how much space Manchester United, Manchester City, and Chelsea take. See Arsenal, Liverpool, Leicester City there too. Okay. Now then, I also looked at percentages. So what percentage of the time if a champion of the following year led the league in this particular category, and it was 6 times. So 27.27% of the time, champion of the following year led the league in fewest own goals. Yeah, I can increase the size here. Yeah, just so we can see the column name and percentage. So 9% of the time, the champion of the following year led the league, having the fewest yellow cards in the previous year. 13% of the time, the champion of the following year had the fewest red cards the previous year. Now the two biggest indicators were the most goals and then clean sheets. Okay, those are the two biggest tellers, or biggest correlators. So, most goals, 40.9% of the time, the champion of the following year led the league goal score the previous year. Most passes was 36.36. Most shots was 27.27. Fewest offsides was 4.55. Most hit woodworks was 13.64. Most big chances missed was 18.18. Most clearances was 0. Fewest dispossessed was 0. Most saves was 0. And that kind of makes sense. If you're giving up a bunch of shots, eventually, the other team will score. The other club will score. Again, the strongest correlator was the most clean sheets. So 54.55% of the time, the champion of the following year led the league in shutouts the previous year. Most penalty save was 9.09. And then you have payroll data. Okay, so now you might say, well, what is now? So these are facts, statistics. Now I will engage in some dubious speculation. So, based upon the fact that one, no, never in history in English football has a club won 4 titles in a row. 2, the mode is that champion of the following year led the league in 2 categories in the previous year. And 3, the strongest correlator was the team that had the most clean sheets in 1 year, leading the league, or winning the league the next year. I'm going to speculate that Manchester United wins the Premier League this year. Again, I don't have a crystal ball, so I am speculating. So again, take that, before anyone gets upset. It's speculation. But again, Manchester United led the league in the fewest own goals. And they had the most clean sheets. Now, if you want to say, okay, well, did any other club lead the league in 2 categories? Well, the answer is yes. I'll go over those. So, Brighton and Hove Albion led the league in most penalties saved at 4. Well, they were tied with. But again, Brighton and Hove. They also led the league with the most shots. So they led the league in 2 categories. And actually, Manchester City led the league, I think. Yes, okay, so they had the fewest own goals. And they had the most goals. So they did the league. So Manchester City did lead the league in 2 categories, so they would also fit. I guess technically Arsenal as well. Arsenal had the fewest own goals and the fewest red cards, so they led the league in 2 things as well. So there are 4, but I say my guess is due to the clean sheets. You know, that Manchester United has the best chance of winning. And again, this analysis I'm doing, there's a bit of a historicism fallacy in that new things don't happen. It's just past trends repeating. So they get that as a fallacy. But there we go. Statistics and speculation. Okay, now I'll go into some of the payroll data. Okay, so now that we have the dubious speculation out of the way, we'll go back to facts. So this table, I have payroll data from 2017 to 2023. Now, I will say this again, in the Premier League, clubs can be promoted to the Premier League or demoted to the Premier League depending upon where they finish. So, some of the payroll data teams had, entered or exited was not consistent, but essentially I took the number of the payroll figure total. I took the number of wins, and then I divided the payroll by just to get a payroll expense per win. So, and then the highest number I highlighted in red. So for 2017, West Ham United spent the most per win, $7.254 million US. 2018, Manchester United spent the most per win at $7.841052.63 million. 2019, Arsenal. Scroll over. It's Fulham. Fulham spent the most per win at $8.785600 per win. 2021. I think this is back to, yes, Manchester United. I think 13,405,312.50 per win. And then in 2023, the highest figure yet. This was Chelsea. Chelsea spent $19,062,727.27 per win in last year. Okay, now, I have the payroll figure for 2023. However, the 2023-2024 season has not, or campaign has not occurred yet. I gotta compare them graphically. So, this is Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, Manchester City, Manchester United. I got the payroll graphed it out. So, zoom in a little bit. So, as you can see, Manchester United generally spent the most per win, with the exception of last year. Chelsea at the 19.62 was far higher than anyone else. And Arsenal had a high year, 2019, but their payroll expense per win has declined a lot recently. Actually, they're getting very efficient at the payroll expense per win. And then Manchester City, who has won many titles, has also been fairly efficient. They're a 3-team, Chelsea Liverpool, Manchester United all spent more per win. Manchester City did. So Manchester City has spent less per win than Manchester United did every year, actually, if you look at it. So, again, interesting trends. Now we go from payroll expense per win to total payroll expenditure. And before anyone asks, it's like, well, it has the payroll expense by year for the 5 big clubs. Those are in clustered columns, and then this green line is the average. So as you can see, Manchester United has generally been at the top. And Chelsea's also a big spender. Chelsea's, there's 1 year Man City, well, there's a few years early on where Man City was spending more than Chelsea, but Chelsea has typically been the second biggest spender, well, on average. So it's not every year. And then Liverpool has been the smallest amount. Though Arsenal, had some years where they were lower, so, and you can see 2023, Man City and Man U above average, and then 2022 is Chelsea, Man City, and Manchester United, just Chelsea and Man U above average, and then it's just Man U in 2020. Man U in 2020 was the only one. Manchester City, Manchester United were above average in 2019. Expenditure of your time.